And what's going on, all of our Zen friends out there? Welcome into a new edition of the Zen Frenz podcast. I'm your host here today, Alex Gray, dog dad to Yoshi the Zen dog on Instagram. And we have your co-host here today, Erica Nolan, dog mom of Sukiyaki Shiba on Instagram as
Hi.
well, able to join us too. Erica, how you doing? How's life been? It's now February 6th. So we're in the winter time here, and you're in Wisconsin. Last we left you.
Yes, it's still cold. It's still cold.
Yeah,
But
newsflash. Not much has changed.
yeah, not much has changed. I can't believe it's February. I don't know where January went. It happened in a flash. And I'm like, oh, Valentine's Day's creeping up. Better start making some plans.
Oh yeah. So do you and Rick, is that something that's important to you, Valentine's Day? Let's get a little bit of the woman's perspective here. Like, is it something we have to have planned? Is it a gift that's important? How do we
Mm.
how do we not fuck up Valentine's Day as boyfriends?
It's to just make sure you acknowledge it in some way, you know. Big gestures don't are appreciated for sure. I don't want your girlfriend to get mad with me saying you don't need to get a gift. Get a gift. Get a
Yeah.
gift. But a gift that shows appreciation for who she is. So, you know, just a little extra attention and pampering. It can, you know, you can go out on a date or you can maybe make a special dinner. You know, it's just like to carve out some time for you guys. I think that's key. So we were talking Valentine's plans, and at this point, we've decided we want to make plans.
Okay.
That's as far as we've gotten.
Okay, good, good. We know we
Yeah.
want to do something. We're just not
We
sure what
want
we
to,
want to do
yeah,
yet.
we want to do something. So, you know, we don't, we like presents at birthdays and holidays, but Valentine's Day we do more. He's a flower giver, which is
Mm,
awesome. I love
the
that. He's
florist.
the florist, Rick the florist. So he surprises me with flowers randomly, and then Valentine's Day he always brings it. So
Have you ever
he
seen
must have an in at a local florist.
Have you
He can
ever
tell you
seen
the
the
secret.
movie The Town with Ben Affleck?
No, but I heard it's
Okay,
so good.
it's so good. Well, I was gonna make some sort of a mafia or a mob reference, but
Oh.
like their headquarters, a lot of them, they're stationed at like a
At
florist shop.
florist?
Yeah, that's where a lot of the dirty work gets done and where the payments get through. But good to know Rick is well
Yeah,
connected
he's
in the
connected. I
town.
was gonna say he's
Yeah.
connected. You
Um,
know, he's from Boston, you know, Boston area, so
uh-oh. Yeah.
might be a little shady.
Hey, the rough and tough, the Boston, the Irish over there,
Yes, exactly that. He's from the wrong side of the tracks. That's
Well, hey, I highly encourage The Town. That's a thriller of
he's
a
seen it
movie.
and he
Yeah.
loves it. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they have the florist and he's like the final boss in that movie. So I was really happy when well, you'll see the end.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
I'm
Don't
not gonna
spoil it, but
not gonna
I
ruin it
yeah,
there.
I'll let you know when I watch it.
So yeah, Valentine's Day, we went to dinner last year. We went to a place here called Roca Accor. It's an awesome Asian restaurant, and a lot of these places they've got the prefix menu, kind of like New
Mm.
Year's. I find where like you're forced to like get like the first course, the second course, the third
Yeah,
course, and you're getting like a hundred
forced. I
fifty
like how
dollar
you said
ticket. Yeah, it's
forced.
forced. Yeah, like they're not like here order a la carte. Nope, no, not tonight. We know
Was
that
it
this
bottomless champagne? That's always a nice touch.
that would have been a nice touch. We didn't partake in that. I think we got
I
a few
see.
individual drinks, but we
Mm.
did get the preset menu. Did the Valentine's Day thing right. We also they had a photo booth there. So I'm looking at a few on my counter here. Like where they have like the boom, boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom, and
yeah,
you're like
yeah. Those are so
smile for this
cute.
one, tug out for that one.
Yeah.
So that was a good one that we got. So that's what we did last year. But I'm gonna keep that in mind to get her some sort of a gift that has some thought into it to let me know that I was thinking about her. I asked, my girlfriend Gracie and her friend recently as well too. It was girls' night, so I came along for girls' night. I was not allowed to talk about sports, and that those ground rules were
There
like
were
laid
a
down.
few
And
rules,
I,
I
I
see.
I found it very funny that I really couldn't help myself. Some way, somehow, I had to talk about what the spread was in the Super Bowl
You
game
snuck it in
coming
there
up this
anyway.
weekend, and not like believing how can the Patriots be 14-6 against the spread if their record's 14-3? Oh wait, they played three preseason games. That's where that statistic's coming from.
I
Um,
see. I
but I,
see. I'm already bored.
Yeah.
However, my husband Rick is a huge Pats fan. He's so excited for
Ooh.
Sunday. So I can go grab him if you guys want to change this podcast
Yeah,
around and
if we
talk about it,
totally want to
because
do
he
like
would
a
love
total
to.
flip here, we could talk about how the Patriots haven't won a Super Bowl since 2018, the Seahawks haven't
They're
won since
so deprived.
2013. Yeah, and now
Yeah,
in
it's been
steps
so
Drake
long.
May. They've won 16 of their last 17, 14 and 6 against the spread. Yeah, they're a tough team right now,
That's
but
right.
the Seattle Seahawks are favored this
Yeah,
week,
they
and
are
and we
by a
know.
lot.
Yeah, so they're favored by 5 points, which is pretty significant for an NFL game. But you never know what's going to happen. So yes, hey, Pats Nation, there you guys got a strong fan base. I will say though, you've had plenty of Super Bowls in my lifetime. I'm rooting
Just
for
a
the
few.
Seahawks. I
Yeah,
think the Seahawks need to get a win here, and
it's their year.
maybe someone here is financially invested in the Seahawks. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look
Oh,
up, but
I
yeah,
see, I see, I
I don't
see.
know. I don't know. Um, yeah, so no, it should be a great one. Santa Clara, California. Hey, by the way, have you ever been to Northern California before?
No, no, hear it's so beautiful.
Yeah, so I was telling you, I went to Mammoth Mountain earlier this year,
Yeah.
but that 10.5 hour drive from Scottsdale, I didn't want to do that. So what you can do is you can fly into San Francisco. So I got a taste of that. Just like being in the airplane is nice, even just flying over somewhere and really seeing the bay and how it's an
Oh,
ocean. They
yeah.
call it the bay, but it really is an ocean. It's just massive. And the Golden Gate Bridge and the
Oh,
architecture and the green hills, and it's like you
it's
can distinctly
gorgeous.
tell as soon as you get to California the green that's there compared to the desert here in
Oh, sure.
Arizona. So then, and we took a flight from San Francisco to Bishop Airport, and that's like a small. They only take two flights a day, one from Denver, one from San Francisco. But
Two
that's
flights a day.
yeah,
That's
two flights
cute.
a day. Yeah, but that's the little mini airport that you take, and then you take about like a 45-minute drive to
Like a
Mammoth.
little hopper.
Yeah, a
Oh,
little
you do.
hop in a no. So you take a drive,
It's a
but
drive. Oh, okay.
yeah, but the plane that we took from San Francisco was a smaller plane. It was about like an hour flight or so from there. But yeah, no, Northern California is beautiful. I mean, and then if you're from Northern California, I feel like when I was in Cali, you don't like Southern California. That's like not your
It's like
vibe.
two different
Yeah,
states and two different,
it's
yeah.
like Civil War going on over there. And if you're from SoCal, you're like, nah, I
Yeah,
don't
you're
do the
like that
NorCal
that
thing.
quiet life. Oh,
Yeah.
there's a lot of trees. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Don't do the whole trees thing. We just do the beach down
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I'm not like picking pine cones.
Not really my thing.
Yeah. But yeah, my bestie, her favorite city that she's ever lived in is Portland, Oregon. And
Mm.
it's I feel kind of similar vibe and maybe similar weather. Seattle, Portland, and like Northern California with that real woodsy,
Hmm.
outdoorsy. She loves that it's like mountains and ocean. So pretty ideal.
Well, and the East Coast equivalent too, especially growing up in New York, it always feels like a really long drive. But when you get to New Hampshire and Vermont, it
Mm,
really starts to feel that way, and Maine as well
agreed.
too. The
Yeah,
green, the
Maine
big
too. Yeah.
trees, the ski mountains, the
Yeah.
all that type stuff. But man, the Pacific Northwest is gorgeous, and yeah, Northern California is too. I personally prefer SoCal over NorCal, so I'm one of those people that's
Yeah,
never
yeah.
lived in San Francisco. But I see the beauty there, and it's got its
So wait,
thing.
San Francisco is n Northern California because I have been there.
Okay, so here's the thing, and I've done the drive from Los Angeles to Seattle before by way of San Francisco, by way of Portland up to Seattle. Technically, you'd consider it Northern California, but because
Oh,
California is so big, it
yeah.
basically is in center California, and you've
Okay.
got like a good 5 hours. You got to keep driving 5 or 6 hours to even get up to the Oregon border there.
Wow,
And
that is long.
yeah, it's real long. And I remember like along the way as you get to the northern part of California, that's when the trees start to get real tall. Like real tall. And you're like, "Oh, I
Well, the
feel like
redwoods are in San Francisco, so maybe it is kind of north. It's like the gateway to Northern
right,
California. When I went for Pride, so I went in June in the middle of the summer, and so I packed like shorts and tank tops.
right.
That was such a mistake. I think that's a rookie San Francisco move. And I had one pair of jeans and like one sweatshirt I had to wear the entire time. It was just, it wasn't cold, but it was chilly and the air is different there. It just
Right.
feels kind of cooler and fresher. And
Hmm.
I was expecting, I was thinking
Hot.
California hot. Yeah.
Right,
I
right.
was expecting to be melting. So pretty much everything I brought was not usable.
Well, it's nice in places too when you're near the water because that water really cools things down a lot of the
Hmm.
time, especially like in California. The more inland you go, that's where that hot really starts to creep up. But
Deserty,
yeah,
roasting.
we
Yeah.
we learned about that in a lot of the, GE classes I took and stuff, that water's a great moderator of temperature. Anytime the sun's coming down, it's going to absorb it, it's going to
Mm.
take some of it. But for example, like a concrete or like a black asphalt just as absorbs it right away and it's just going to
Yeah.
sit there. So that's why you're burning yourself when you're walking on this stuff. But the bay, naturally gets some of that heat coming in, and then it's probably why needed to pack a hoodie when you went
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah. Exactly. If you go to San Francisco, pack an extra hoodie. That's our tip.
So just to get back to the amazing tangent that we just went on,
Yes,
I
yes.
I, I asked my girlfriend and her friend. I said, okay, it's girls' night. All right, I'm gonna engage you guys here. So I asked a few questions. One of the questions I asked was, what's an underrated quality or thing of importance to you in a relationship that doesn't get talked about enough that's important to you as a girl? And her
Good
friend said,
question.
yeah, and thank you. And her friend said, asking me how my day was and genuinely being interested in what I have going on. That was like underrated. And I totally get that, right? Like sometimes we come home from work and whatever we're doing, and our immediate instinct is to talk about ourselves and everything we have
Oh,
going
sure.
on, and
Yeah.
I. But being cognizant and being aware to the fact that just, hey, how was your day, and what was that like, and why did that make you feel that way, and
Yeah.
just like being genuinely interested. So for all the guys out there, that's how you're gonna win here in relationship world, is genuinely being interested in your companion and what they have going on, and I think that'll go a long way for you. So that was the first tip I got.
That's a great tip. I like check-ins. I think that's great. Check in with your partner. How are you doing? What was your day like? I think that's great. How did how did it go with Julie from work? I remember last week, you guys had all those issues, or whatever.
Hmm.
Recall something from a previous convo. She'll love it. But looking up from your phone, and that's something we all have to do,
Hmm.
including me for sure. I feel like I can split my attention so easily that sure, I'll just, be on my phone and
Right.
yeah, I'm listening to you. It's not the same. The person doesn't really feel heard, even if you feel like you
Mm.
can kind of catch what they're saying. So, I we're all addicted to our phones, so it's a good reminder to look up, check in, relate how your day, share your day too. I think sharing, I know you were saying you don't want to be so self-focused,
Right.
but also, making sure that you kind of share like smaller moments from your day in a relationship that really kind of adds up, I
Hmm.
think.
No, definitely. And I was a communication major. 76% of communication's nonverbal. So physically, if you're checked out and your body language is down, that's not going to make someone really feel like their message is coming across, all the way. And yeah, I agree. That's really important. And just being genuinely interested and being
Yeah.
patient and listening,
Mm.
I think really goes a long way too. Um, so the second one I asked was, and this was for my girlfriend herself, cuddles. That's what she brought to the mix here.
Aw,
Um,
that it's underrated.
that it's underrated. Yeah, we
Aw,
call it ottering. So if you ever think about like two otters that are locked arm floating down the river
ottering.
together,
They hold
yeah,
hands when they go down
yeah,
that so
they
they don't
hold they
lose each.
hold hands to the float. So I call her my
That's
otter,
precious. That's
and
real cute.
there's some cute gifs as well out there. If you ever type in otter, there's one where like they're like rubbing up on each other's
Oh,
faces. So yes, the second advice for all you guys out there is, make sure to hug and make sure to cuddle a little bit. Just being patient and laying there makes your counterpart, your companion, feel real good and something that's underrated.
Yes, agreed, Gracie. I think, you know, physical touch, that's, all those love languages. And, you know, it- just to, even if you're just like watching a movie, just to be connected a little bit rather than just opposite sides of the couch or whatever.
Hmm.
It's nice.
Yeah, I get called iPad baby to go back to you being on your phone. That is a consistent insult that I receive, and but I do notice that about myself. Sometimes I feel like I have ADD. You can be talking to me, but I'm not there with you all the way, and my mind
Mm.
is in another place. And it's better I finish what I'm doing, put it
So you
down,
can,
put it on
mhm.
airplane mode,
Yeah, yeah.
and then I'm gonna be present.
You're like, give me
All right, I'm
5.
done. Yeah, give me
Yeah,
5.
yeah.
All right, I'm done. No, no, it's like did you ever watch
Because if you're interrupted, then you're still kind of
yeah.
thinking about it. Like I have to finish that or
Do you ever watch the show Entourage before?
oh yeah, Entourage. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Ari Gold, like when they're in the therapy sessions and he gets the
Yeah.
phone call, he's like, "Honey, I gotta take this." She's like, "I don't give a damn who it is on the phone
Yeah.
right now. Put the phone down and we're gonna have this conversation." And he's
Ari's wife is my favorite. I love her. Yeah.
like punching the phone and like
Yeah.
needs to kill himself to put it off. It's classic.
It is
Classic.
classic. That's classic.
So yeah, be a little more present, guys out there. Be a little more present. Physical touch goes a long way as well too. Be genuinely interested in your partner. And the tidbit that we're going to give you on the Zen Friends podcast today as well is do get a gift and something that's thoughtful that lets them know that you're thinking about them. Doesn't need to be the highest price ticket, but get something. Don't show up empty-handed here on
Right.
Valentine's Day.
And I mean, if it is last minute, it's last minute. Not everybody does a great job planning ahead or has the capacity, but if you can plan ahead and the gift shows that I thought of this 3 weeks ago and then I had to order the blanket with your face on it or whatever,
Hmm.
and to arrive by Valentine's Day. And then, so that shows some forethought and planning. And again, that's something women love is to, all right, probably everyone, but is to feel like, oh wow, he put effort in. Effort, A for effort.
Well, now that we mentioned it and you're talking about planning ahead, I just went to Amazon and typed in otter and I'm seeing some good results
Oh,
here.
oh my
So,
God.
yeah, I think we can play on that and let's be ahead of the curve this
That's
year. Yeah,
adorable. I love it.
let's not drop the ball like if we were in the Super Bowl. We're gonna show up and try to cash the ticket here.
That's right.
Valentine's Day is coming
Touchdown.
up. Touchdown. Here we
I
go.
think I
Valentine's
think your otter
Day.
gift's going to be a touchdown for sure.
Don't say the Zen Friends podcast isn't bringing you anything out there. We're bringing
Bringing Zen
all
to
the
your
tricks here.
relationship.
Let's go. Let's
Yeah.
go. All right, Erica. So last time that we talked this year, as far as our education goes and some of our conversations, we've been talking about pet anxiety. That's been a big focus that we have for Zen Friends. We're looking into the statistics about that this year as well, too. The fact that we're finding 1 in every 2 pets is experiencing some form of anxiety. And then we were also looking into the 10 different types of pet anxiety, most common being noise anxiety, travel, separation anxiety. Those are very common ones that we know about. And then in the episode after that, we got into CBD, that $1 million question. What is CBD? What is cannabidiol? What's the difference between CBD and THC? And how does it work? How does it interact with the endocannabinoid system? So we know it's Zen Friends. What we specialize in is helping pets stay zen in stressful occasions and incorporating ingredients like CBD to achieve this. Ingredients that are natural, unlike pharmaceuticals like Prozac or Trazodone or Xanax, which we're not going to promote for pets that can have sedative effects and also can have withdrawal effects too,
Hmm.
prescription type medications. So we went over that full list for you guys as well. Now, what we're going to spend some time in this episode here is getting to some of our non-CBD products and why we chose some of the ingredients in those products and how they fit in line with our all-natural, non-drowsy ingredient identity that we have for the brand, right? The mission that we have to help pets stay zen, but it needs to fall under those categories. Otherwise, we're not going to pick it as an ingredient and put it in the product.
Hmm.
So one of these products that we have on the market now that's been doing amazing is the Zen Butter product, calming peanut butter product with the lick mat. They're becoming very popular for separation anxiety and having pets stay occupied when they're home alone. And we have some ingredients in these products. So we're going to now break these down for you and talk about what some of these are. And Erica, you and myself, we've also taken supplements so we can maybe attest to some of these ingredients and do some research here. But let's kick it off here for the Zen Friends podcast with the first ingredient, and that's going to be L-theanine. So, what is L-theanine? L-theanine is an amino acid naturally found in green tea, widely known for promoting calm yet alert state. Perfectly in line with what we're looking to accomplish. How it supports calm. L-theanine encourages relaxation without sedation, helps support focus and emotional balance, promotes a sense of ease during stressful moments. L-theanine supports calm without making pets sleepy, making it ideal for everyday stress, noise sensitivity, and situational anxiety. So what we
Perfect.
what we have in that product there is 100 milligrams per tablespoon. This is an ingredient where it's not like CBD. We recommend 5 milligrams per 25 pounds. So you're
Mm.
actually going to have to use more of this ingredient to get that calming effect. But that was our first selection. Erica, what about you when it comes to L-theanine? Were you ever aware of this before trying one of our products, or anything you know about it that you can talk about?
I don't have personal experience. I'm going to be like a lot of our listeners, learning along, with you about the other ingredients in the products. And um, I'm just happy to know that because now I can recognize it. But no, I don't. Have you ever taken it? Or well, I don't drink green tea. I drink black tea. So I don't know
Mm.
if maybe it's in other teas or if it's just common in green tea.
So I have taken some supplements out there for focus,
Mm,
and also there's a company out there called Alpha Brain, and they make a cognitive function type powder,
mm,
which has nootropics in it, which is thought of to help with cognitive function, memory, and also focus as well too. And there have been supplements that I've taken with L-theanine. L-theanine to me is subtle. It's not going to be as strong and overcoming
mm,
as some of those like pharmaceuticals that we were talking about. But I love here just knowing the fact that it's found in green tea. And, teas being all natural and herbal in order to accomplish calming in a holistic approach, that's something that I'm really confident about. And what we found from using the products throughout the years, we've worked on calming chew products before. And once L-theanine kind of fit into that category of natural, non-drowsy, holistic, and we got good feedback from our calming chews in previous years, this is the most prominent ingredient that we have in the Zen Butter product, and that's getting 100 milligrams per tablespoon. So no real issues with it here. The feedback seems to be great, and it seems to fit in line with everything that we're working on.
that's great. Yeah, I've just did a little light Googling, especially about the Alpha Brain supplement too, and that the distinct ingredients are L-theanine, and then they have caffeine and some other things, but that's like seems to the primary ingredient. So it
Yeah,
seems
do
to
you
do a lot,
Do you remember
meets
we
a
were
lot.
promoting that product Magic Mind
Yes.
a
Yeah.
year ago?
Hmm.
Check out that product, but their whole thing is like we want you to replace coffee. So here comes this
Uh-huh.
Magic Mind shot that you have. Inside of that, though, I believe was a heavy pack of L-theanine that
Ah.
comes inside of that product. and that's a morning shot that you would take. But a lot of their marketing around it is sustained energy and sustained focus,
I see that
and
they're saying, rather than you don't get
the
the
jitters.
jitters.
Yeah, yeah, so yeah, and I'm seeing L-theanine a lot out there. It seems to be very popular. But if you're looking for that natural non-drowsy and you're opposed to trying CBD,
Mm.
L-theanine is going to be real prominent out there to be able to check out. Okay, let's move on here. Next up is going to be L-tryptophan. Now, L-tryptophan sounds a little more intense to me than what it actually is. You know, if I see something that says tryptophan, I'm like, what? Like, is my
Is that
dog
the
gonna
ingredient
trip?
that's in turkey that
Yeah,
makes you
yeah,
okay?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I've heard the same thing. That's why you're really tired after Thanksgiving because tryptophan is in turkey. But L-tryptophan, right? You don't want your dog or your cat to be tripping, when you take something.
Right.
So
Oh,
it,
tryptophan.
yeah,
That's
right.
funny.
It doesn't sound so light, but what it is. So it's an essential amino acid involved in the production of serotonin, a
Oh,
neurotransmitter associated with mood balance. Supports emotional well-being, helps promote relaxation and contentment, encourages balanced mood responses. L-tryptophan supports a stable emotional baseline, helping pets feel more at ease throughout the day. So not only do we put L-theanine in the peanut butter, we're also going to put L-tryptophan in there, and that's going to be at 30 milligrams.
oh,
Anyone who does research out there on the calming pet market, by the way, we'll get into this, more so later, but we did come across the statistic recently that there's going to be $5 billion spent this year alone in the USA on calming pet products. There's
wow.
a big need out
That's a big
there,
number.
and that's a big market out there for calming. And to up the ante even further in the global pet market, that's $18 billion that's going to be spent on calming pet products out there. So if you're looking at calming chews on the market, L-theanine is going to be very popular, but also L-tryptophan is going to be real popular too. I find that almost all products out there contain some sort of tryptophan,
Mm,
and I believe that's also because we're getting that same feedback here that it's going to support emotional balance and make your pet feel at ease, working with their mood, working with serotonin, which is all about mood. It's all about the signals that your brain is sending, right?
mm.
Like dopamine. When something good happens, your brain releases dopamine. Same thing with the serotonin levels as well too. So tryptophan is working hand in hand with that, and it's an essential amino acid. So it sounds like the body heavily relies on that, and then also
Mhm.
not just for us, our pets' bodies can rely on that too.
That's great. And then, one other aspect of anxiety in pets is that it can affect their appetite,
Mm.
either because they're feeling too stressed
I know I
or
don't want to eat
depressed to
when I'm
eat.
anxious.
Yeah, right. It definitely doesn't make you like almost don't have time for it or don't have space for it to I don't need that. And you do need it. Your body needs the fuel. And but it's you're not in the right state of mind to want to eat. And with our pets that happens to them too. I think we hear that people have pets that are fussy eaters, or we have to be creative in how we feed our pet. What worked one day doesn't work the next day. And I'm thinking if they feel more regulated in their mood and temperament, that can only help with mealtime, with feeling relaxed and ready to eat.
Yeah, it's such a good point that you bring up, and that really got me thinking there about how anxiety can relate to appetite and suppressing the appetite or a lack of appetite. When I wake up in the morning, I'm not starving right away. I actually try to go get a cup of coffee, maybe a banana. I'll do some yogurt, some fruit, but I'm not like, hey, I want to eat 6 eggs as soon as I wake
Mm,
up. And that's somewhere I know especially when it comes to being an athlete, that I can improve upon is getting better nutrition in my body to begin the day. Later in the day is really when my appetite will start to come on, but that's because my mind is calming down. When I wake up,
Oh,
I'm in just like an immediate survival state that I need to go out there, I need to be talking, I need to be accomplishing things, I need to be
and
having
you're thinking
conversations.
about your
I'm
agenda.
thinking, I'm just
You're
yeah.
already past that point.
Yeah,
I
my
see.
mind's in so many places that like I don't
You're like,
have
I don't
that
have time. Let's
calm
go.
to like sit down and like eat.
Yeah.
And sometimes eating has been an issue with me in the past where, I'll have like a swallowing issue. So eating and talking don't
Oh.
always go hand in hand with me. I'd rather be settled in, and this may be kind of weird, but just looking at a TV and my mind drowning out. So I'm not thinking about what
Mm.
I'm actually eating. It's more of an involuntary
Mm-hmm.
thing that I'm going in.
Like a secondary, you're focused on something else.
Right. Like I'm focused on the screen and I'm focused on what's going on. And next thing I know, like my plate will be finished. But like
Uh-huh.
if I'm worried about eating and I'm thinking about what I'm eating, sometimes my mind can trip itself out.
Mhm.
And there may be like I'm sure there's other people out there that can relate to that. But if you're just naturally like a, anxious type thinking person, sometimes eating does not go hand in hand with that.
Absolutely. It's something that slows you down, cooking, and people who do it will say that that's really great is to take some time out for it. But that sounds ideal. But, if it's not your personality, it's not how you wake up. Rick also doesn't have any kind of appetite in the morning. He does
Hmm.
exactly what you do, a coffee and maybe a piece of fruit or
Hmm.
you know, toast or something, but not a meal. And
Hmm.
also, prepare it? Who wants to clean it up?
Hmm.
We got a day to go.
Right. Right.
We're already going. So, he. I, I'm different. I want the meal. I need the
Gracie's
fuel
the
to,
same
and I
way.
need to
Yeah.
take some time to like wake up and
Right.
greet the day. I don't get out of bed like let's go. So,
Right.
so I need my fuel first.
Well, fuel's important. That's our energy source, and where we get it from is really important too. Um, my thing is I'm a night owl, so that
Mm.
I could have like two meals, but I'm having those at midnight. I'm not having those at 8 in the morning,
Right,
so to
right.
speak. But that's definitely something I think I can practice. Another thing I want to mention that I think a lot of people can relate to, especially when we're on this topic of anxiety and how that can relate to appetite, is have you ever gone through anything extremely hard or
Oh,
experienced loss or
mm,
gone through a breakup or gotten fired from work or had a death in your family? And it's like these things happen and they're a shock to your
mm,
system and they're terrible, and those events overtake your body. Now your body is just in a constant state of anxiety. And I've had those situations in my life where I wake up and the first thing I do the next morning is go throw up, like because my
mm,
body is like just overtaken by that event that happened. And no, I don't have an appetite when something like that's going on, right? But when I'm in my, normal state and things are flowing, appetite's like no problem.
hmm.
How about you, Erica? Can you relate to any of that where like serious events may lead to a loss of appetite?
Absolutely. And also a loss of quality appetite, wanting to eat quality food. It's more of like a junk.
Hmm.
I just want to put sugar in my body and I don't care that
Hmm.
I'm not balancing it. Or I'm not saying that's how I generally feel, but if I'm going
Right.
through a tough time, um, my priorities of wellness
Hmm.
just kind of get thrown out. It just feels like I'm just doing whatever I can to get through my day and to feel okay and to be distracted from how I feel. And your body isn't distracted. Your body is absorbing all of
Hmm.
those things. We feel things so much in our bodies. And it can create all this tightness and
Hmm.
you know you you're just weighed down
Mm.
and you don't nothing seems appetizing, nothing seems exciting or worth the effort. So it can be a real challenge. It's nice in those times to rely on a support system to kind of,
Hmm.
hey, I'm not taking care of myself quite as great as I should. But
Hmm.
it's hard to get there. It's hard to even say that or acknowledge it or even in the time recognize it. So that can be a big challenge. And also referring that to our pets. Our pets absorb a lot of our emotions. So if we're going through a tough time or we're
They're
grieving,
empaths. They've
exactly,
got that natural empathy.
they're gonna pick up on it. They're gonna, I've definitely seen that with Sookie. Um, and so I just, was thinking about how this ingredient could be good in those circumstances too, to help you regulate your system, and your pets as well. If they're, if there's a lot of stressful times out there,
Hmm.
and we bring our day home, even if our relief is to see our pet, and that's all lovey-dovey. But then if you're walking around tense or you have a conversation and you're worked up, they're hearing that, so it can transfer to them.
So I'll speak from personal experience here. I've had situations in my life, like I'm mentioning, with those like serious type life shocking events, whether it's, maybe losing a job or going through a breakup or experiencing death in a family or anything like that, where I have had that uncontrollable shaking. And I think my mind
Mm,
is just anticipating all these outcomes, and it's
I
not
see.
it's not reality, but it's just outcomes that you're anticipating and you're constantly forecasting. So I'm not grounded and I'm not really present in the moment. I'm being
Mm,
overtaken with anxiety. This event happens, now all of a sudden my mind starts spiraling to, oh, is this the way it's going to be? Is it always going to be like this? Is
yeah,
this
the
going to be a
spiral
failure?
is
The spiral.
real.
Yeah.
Ugh, yeah.
And I've been in times where I'm like, dude, my heart is going so fast right
Mm,
now. I need to settle down. And you want to be able to work through something like that naturally. Maybe you go on a run,
mm,
maybe go play a sport, maybe go do
yeah.
some exercise, find
A creative
something
hobby.
creative hobby, something that's going to give you some sort of an outlet or some sort of relief.
Mm,
But I have been in situations where I've taken the medications we're talking about that we don't necessarily promote, like a
mm-hmm.
trazodone, like a Prozac, like a Xanax. And what I can say, like from personal experience, is it almost numbs you, right? So where you
Yes.
you you can't even feel. So it's like it will accomplish in that sense where it's going to take that anxiety away, but that's not the norm. And that's where a lot of the problem comes from is it's like, okay, you achieve that, but now how are you going to feel and how is your body going to adapt to that the next day when it doesn't have that? And do you want to become reliant on that where your
Mm,
body is now going to become dependent on that? And how is your body going to respond to that when it doesn't have that medication or it doesn't have that pause there that you can be taking? And like we are mentioning, like with withdrawals as well too, that's where I feel like a lot of the concerns come in there is the
mm,
body can grow a dependency to that. And it's almost like some people, if you're out there and you drink coffee every day and you don't get your coffee one morning, you probably have a headache and you're
yeah.
probably not in a good mood that day. And you're not going to be
Right.
in a good mood until you have a sip of your, get your cup of coffee.
And you might not even realize that that's happening. I'm just having an off day. You're like, oh well, I didn't have coffee, but that couldn't possibly be
Right.
affecting me
But no,
this
it's a real
badly.
thing.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. And like people, your body's not going to lie to you. So it's the human body starts to adapt to all these things we're putting in it, and it starts to build a relationship with all those different things
Mm,
inside of it, right? So for pets, especially now we know with pets, with the amount of anxiety here, what the goal that we have for a lot of these ingredients is to use it daily and work it a part of the regimen.
mm,
And the
mm-hmm,
goal is to get that natural, holistic, gentle, more subtle calming effect than something that's just going to completely numb and overtake your pet's body. But if we know that from human experience that it's not the best route, or
mm,
it's
mm-hmm.
probably not the safest thing to do, it can't be the same for our pets as well.
I totally agree. The You don't want your personality or your pet's personality stripped,
Hmm.
and in having being numbed. I mean, maybe in one of those extreme
Temporary.
situations where you're grieving, yeah, that can be different. But your daily stress and your daily anxiety, And same for your pet. You don't want to go to extremes like that. You don't want to be stripped of your energy, and enthusiasm and personality, um, to just exist.
Hmm.
So I definitely wouldn't want that for my pet either. I wouldn't want them to not have their silly, goofy
Right.
personality, but I also don't want them to be anxious and,
Right.
and tense. So having something that gently regulates. And then if they didn't have it the next day, it's not the end of the world. They're not going to
Right.
go through withdrawal. I have learned a lot recently about the nervous system
Hmm.
in humans, but I'm just going to say that it also is in dogs, but
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
know the
Yeah.
science, but I'll just say that it is. I'm the expert, folks.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. No, but how much of our body, I'm not saying it very well, but how much the nervous system has to do with so many body functions. I always feel like it's just for sensation,
Hmm.
the five senses, but um, but it's not, and it creates patterns based on repeated behavior because your the computer that is your brain needs some shortcuts. It's
Hmm.
working so much on so many things. So to give attention to all these different things going on, it'll create patterns and it'll go to that, kind of like a program. It'll go
Hmm.
to and run the program. And so, when we're kind of thinking about how do we want to train our brains to set up patterns that work for us, I think having a supplement like this can only help promote, this calm, happy zen in your
Hmm.
life, and feeling regulated sets up good patterns rather than I'm tense every day, I'm not feeling good every day. Then your brain kind of, okay, that's what we do. And it can perpetuate and it can be really hard to break. So it's really great to have some natural ingredients that aren't going to come with a lot of side effects, come with horrible withdrawal, be extreme, take your personality away at the expense of, well, yeah, it did calm my anxiety down. This is something else. This is set yourself up for success.
So I think a lot, especially what you're saying with the nervous system, it's almost like a highway of communication where
Mm.
signals are getting sent around from system to system within the body. And this is just a great example of how quickly it's going to work. If you put your finger on the table and you smash it with a hammer, you
I
don't
was going
just
to say, should we do
yeah,
this?
yeah, just smash it,
Let's
smash it with a
experiment.
hammer. Go ahead, everyone out there if you're listening, smash your
Yeah.
finger with a hammer and
Are
see.
we going to need to do a legal
Yeah.
disclaimer?
Yeah, let's test to
Opinions of Zen
see
Frenz.
anecdotally if your nervous system is working or not.
Yeah.
How many people out there are going to feel that pain and not have any sort of response or not have any sort of reaction? No, your body is so quick that you're instantly going to know, hey, something's wrong here, something's off, and then your pain receptors are working together to restore that balance, right? Well, with
Hmm.
anxiety as well, I think about this, and I took a philosophy class which talks about short-term pleasures versus long-term pleasures. When I think of anxiety, I think of fast movements of atoms that are moving around, right? They're moving quickly. A great movie that depicts this as well is I believe it's called Inside Out. I'm not sure if
Oh,
you've
with
seen
the
that one.
emotions,
Yeah,
all the
the
different,
emotions, right?
uh-huh.
And then in the new one, this time around, they had anxiety, and
Yeah.
she's like some like orange girl that's always like freaking out, and ends up like
Yeah.
getting this teenager that's starting to go through some sort of anxiety.
Yeah.
But things that can lead to that are things like short-term pleasures. So like maybe it's like drinking, or maybe it's gambling, or maybe it's sex, or maybe it's all those things out there that are quick type fixes,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now those are good, or temporarily they can give you some sort of a fix, but in the long run, those aren't going to promote steadily flowing atoms in your body. That zen that we're talking about, that's what can create the withdrawal, the addiction, anxiety, rash feelings like that.
Mm.
On the other hand, long-term pleasures that the professor was talking about, things like getting adequate sleep every night, rest is super important. Nutrition and diet super important as well. Exercise, reading, writing, things that are just like long-term things that you can always focus in on. Now you're
Hmm.
starting, your body start, your atoms are starting to flow and you're starting to gain pleasure from a lot of these things that aren't coming instantly to you. So I think, like the same thing with pets as well, too. You have to develop a habit of some sort of routine for them with some healthy habits as well that's really going to give them those more calm state sense of mind, the same thing that we can have in humans as well too, not just here quick treat fix right away to make
Yeah,
everything
yes.
better, but how's the pet feeling when they don't get that quick fix?
Right. It takes a little more effort to establish these patterns. It's really great to try early in your relationship with your pet. It sets you both up for, this is what we're going for. So
Hmm.
whether it's the amount of walks you do, I mean, I think walks are so important. And one of the most wonderful things about having a dog is that it gets you out on a walk
Hmm.
because you
Mutually
have to walk them.
beneficial.
Hmm. So, just when you were saying what your professor was, the examples that
Hmm.
your professor was giving, I was also thinking recreation and getting out in nature.
Hmm.
Doing just, it doesn't have to be a vigorous hike. It can be just they call it like forest bathing. You
Hmm.
just to be in Northern California
Yeah,
amongst the
right.
trees,
Looking up like, wow,
breathing
I'm
the air
really
in the
small, my
redwood
problems
forest.
really don't matter as much as I thought they did.
Right. I mean, it does. It gives you a little perspective outside your bubble. And, your pet is just having the time of their life, just sniffing around.
Hmm.
It's the simple pleasures and the simple things, and you can enjoy that together. Another time to be off your phone is during a
Hmm.
walk. It's beneficial for both of you. And, to try to, you're not just trying to get point A to point B and we're done. It's, just enjoy the walk and the pace of the walk. And if your dog wants to do a lot of sniffing, that's great. That's great. Just, let him do that and be there for it. I think that can be really healing from your problems rather than, like you said, a quick fix.
It reminds me as well of separation anxiety and confinement anxiety, especially for humans as well too. If I'm anxious about something, sitting in a room all day and thinking about it and pondering all the
Mm.
different outcomes are terrible.
I'm a dweller. I don't know. I mean, I know you sound like you're like a problem solver.
Hmm.
I'm more of a like sitting in the problem and I
Hmm.
and I can't let it go and I can't move past it. I need to move past it. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
I'll stay up, I'll fixate on it and how it made me feel and how that one thing I said was so embarrassing and everyone is thinking no one else is thinking about it. But but
Yeah.
I'm stuck. So that's what happens to me is I get stuck in place.
I got a great quote for that.
Okay.
Someone I used to work with and work for, Gary Vaynerchuk, talks about not dwelling, and his expression is looking back fucks with your neck. Basically, like
Hey.
keep your head going forward. Things that so what? What
Yeah.
can you
Yeah.
what can you do about it now? Like so what? All that
Yeah.
matters is today. All that matters is right now, and what can you do in this moment? Because if we sit back and we dwell, I do that myself too. I was talking about with some of those anxious situations, I start to bundle all of these things into my head,
Mm.
right? Like if something bad or something goes wrong, is my life like that? Is that what I was destined to be? Is it always not going to work out? And then you start
Oh.
thinking about other past experiences that don't work out. But you're right, they're all not related to each other.
Mm.
They're all individual events that happen, maybe random events, but we need to put them into context somehow. But
Right.
there's also a philosopher who talks about this as well too, that if you're depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. But if you're at
Oh.
peace, you're living in the present
In the
moment
present.
that you're in right now.
That
So
makes a lot of
depression,
sense.
kind of like don't look back so much and live in the past. Anxiety, don't try to anticipate everything because it's probably going to be different than what you're anticipating in your mind. But to be at peace is to be in the present moment that you're in right there. And sometimes, like when I do get over anxious or I do feel like I'm depressed and dwelling too much, it's just reminding yourself like it's all in your head. Our mind makes up all these scenarios in our head, and it
Mm,
does it from the evolutionary perspective that we're trying to survive. So we're trying to protect ourselves from all
hmm.
of these painful things that may have happened to us in the past. And as a defense mechanism, our body is just thinking about all these different ways how we can prevent that
Yeah, you
happening.
don't want to be doomed to repeat it. So,
Right.
it's important to not completely let it go, but you don't want it to rule over your, you know, I don't know, the dwelling is dwelling is rough, the struggle is real.
And knowing it is where we can improve on it as well
Mm,
too. And it
that's
just like
right.
everything, it takes practice, right? It takes
Hmm.
practice with some of these healthy habits that we have to be able to move past that. So what I was going to mention with separation anxiety and confinement, if it's not good for you for a human, same thing with the pets as well. They get anxious when they're home, they got too much time to think. And
Mm,
having activities for them or ways to keep their mind stimulated and ways to keep them occupied is healthy for them, especially if they are anxious in confinement or in, separation.
absolutely. That's so true. You know, they say that dog exercise can be one of two things. It can be physical or mental, like when we give them a puzzle game or when they
Hmm.
go on a walk where they do a lot of sniffing or a sniffari. Um,
I want to go on a
is
safari.
yeah. And it's very mentally fulfilling to them. That is exercising them. They get so much information through that and they're processing it and they're working their brains. And so that kind of stimulation is also a form of exercise and really important in their day. We think, oh, the dog needs exercise, maybe play with a toy or go for a walk. But, there's all sorts of clever ways, some training,
Hmm.
there's really cheap ways to do puzzles. If you keep your toilet rolls, toilet paper
Hmm.
rolls, and you keep a stack of them after a while, you can put some treats inside and roll the ends.
Mm.
And, as long as your dog isn't the dog that's going to rip it up and swallow it with supervision, they can rip into that's so fun. They get to destroy something,
Yeah,
they're always told
I love it.
you can't.
Yeah,
Yeah. So here, go for it,
yeah.
tear it up. And
Squeak a duck toy. Go see what your dog does. What your dog really wants to do with that duck.
yeah, yeah.
They love it. They love it.
Exactly, exactly.
Um, yeah, I mean, and what about when you grab the leash? What's Suki's reaction?
Mm.
How does she react to when you grab the leash?
I mean, she's ready to go. She wants to go. She gets ready to leave. And it's before the leash. She understands the whatever signs of us getting ready or what, who
Right,
knows
starts to
what.
pick up on it.
Absolutely. And then it's like if I go to wash up in the bathroom, she's standing outside the door like tick tock.
Yeah, yeah,
That took you too long.
yeah.
And we're getting
We're
all of our
late.
coats and mittens and she's like, I'm ready to go. I've got
Yeah.
my coat on. So she gets impatient with us. She starts to shuffle back and forth. That's kind of her like, hey. And then we let her go to the car. And then
Okay,
she's
okay.
but since she's a diva, in the garage, the garage floor is cold on her
Mm.
paws, and there is a welcome mat. So she stands on the welcome mat and expects to be carried to the car. So she doesn't go right up to the car. If you try to encourage her to, she looks at you like, get my feet cold on the dirty garage floor? I never.
I love Shivas already.
Yeah.
I love Shivas already.
They think so highly of themselves.
Yoshi, I mean, I feel like Frenchies are the same way too. I was making the joke last night that when he's on the bed with you, well, actually, in our new apartment now, he's been in his dog bed and he likes it because I don't want all the black hairs on our bed, and
Yeah.
that was a tough decision. But when he's at Grandma's house, you're in his way. He's not in your way on the bed.
Yeah.
You got to work around him and how he's sprawled out, versus on the bed as well.
That's
Sometimes he's
great.
dramatic too. Like I'll open the car door for him and
Mm.
he'll sit there and I'm like, I know you can jump up.
Hmm.
Why are you not jumping up right now? So I have to like pull him back and then I'll go up, up, and then he'll jump
And
up
then
like
he'll
onto the
jump.
car. But I'm like,
So
do you
not
just
from
want he just
standing
wants me to pick
still.
him up. He wants me to pick him up and he wants to act helpless because he enjoys the labor.
Yeah.
He gets off to it. He's like, you
I
missed
was
the
gonna say he
spot.
gets off
Yeah.
on it. That's right, human.
Yeah.
Human
Do,
bitch.
do the work.
Yeah.
Bitch, Alex. We're late. Come on. Get me to this dog park here.
I know this life very well that you're
Yeah,
describing.
yeah. Yeah, it comes with the cool breeds.
That's
Um
right. That's right. That's
uh
right. They know their worth.
So the when I grab the leash, I love it. I mean, as soon as we get out of the hall that we're in, he's swinging side to side, looking
Oh.
back at me, yanking me. Like it's really a lot of fun for him. So, what may seem so simple for us is like taking them out for a walk. It means a lot to them.
Hmm.
And we just got to prioritize that more, taking them on those adventures, those walks, that mental stimulation, those mental
Mm.
breaks. And for him, it's his crack ball. I mean, he loves that tennis ball. As soon as we get in this little dog
Oh
park
yeah.
over here, even if I don't have it, as soon as he like goes to the bathroom, he just sits there and looks at me like, "Where is it?" And I'm like, "I don't have it, man.
I don't. I
I
don't.
don't have it
Yeah.
today. I don't have your check. Please do not send the Frenchie Mafia after me. I'm coming up short this month. I'm sorry." Um, but even like before a work shift, I'll spend like a good 15 minutes in the morning with him, just throw it back, throw it.
Mm.
And then by the time we get back to the apartment, his saliva's everywhere. He's out of breath and he just wants to lay, flat on the ground with
Sploot.
his shit. Yeah, he's this full
Yeah,
on like
yeah, the
that,
little frog.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
frogged out. And I'm like, all right, I did my job today.
Yes,
The
yes.
tennis ball has been great. However, though, of course, there's always an issue with everything. Someone told me recently that there may be toxic chemicals in a tennis ball. I
Oh
can't confirm
no.
that, but I would say it's the cheapest, easiest toy for a dog that he absolutely loves. So I don't think I'm going to stop anytime soon.
As I would say to that you want to be careful with, again, like the toilet paper roll idea of
Yeah,
having them tear the fuzz off the tennis ball and swallow it.
right.
If you've opened a lot of tennis cans in your life, right?
Yeah,
That
they smell.
and then
Yeah, it
there's a
smells.
smell, there's a
Yeah,
chemical. So,
yeah.
and especially if you're like, well, these my dog's going to destroy these, so I'm going to get the cheap ones,
So
so they might.
he doesn't eat it open like our German Shepherd does. When you were talking about like dogs that can destroy, oh, I mean Tucker
Yeah,
can
yeah.
destroy anything and everything. I mean it's
Don't shut
all
a
over
door
the
because
place.
he'll tear a hole through
No.
it.
And why would you swallow that too? Do not swallow that tennis ball. That is a terrible idea. I don't know
Yeah.
where you got that in your head.
How's that appetizing or fun or
No.
anything? Yeah.
So I'm not really worried about him like destroying a ball, but I would be
Mm,
worried about the long-term effects. I can't confirm that yet, but for the
mm.
meantime, he loves it and it's a great way to get his energy out and it's like life to him. As soon as it's the most important thing in the room as soon as you pull it out.
That's awesome. Does he like a bounce or a roll or both?
Anything. I could throw it
Anything.
over here, he'll go get it and he brings it right back to you and he's almost like kind of demanding with it. Like he puts it
What a
on you and
shock.
he's like, "Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on." Like, man, I've been throwing it with you 20 times, like
Yeah,
25
yeah.
times. Like at what point are you going to be satisfied? It's just a never-ending repeat.
They
So
have those ball feeders for outside,
yeah.
if you have a yard or something where the dog can put the ball in themselves, and because people are like, I need shoulder surgery because my border collie is killing me
Just,
with, yeah,
just
repeated
over it.
throws all day long. I've seen I wish I could give her a shout out if I knew her handle, but there's an Frenchie on Insta. You know those talking buttons that they
Hmm.
have for
Oh
dogs
yeah,
now?
when they
Okay,
want the
so
treat or they want to go out to the
or they
bathroom.
want to go outside. If someone doesn't know, it's just like these little buttons that you can push down and it speaks a word. So as the owner, you'll assign something to it, like walk or treat, and then they'll go to that button and press it when they want a walk or treat. And most people are thinking they'll just sit there and press it
Oh yeah.
10,000
Oh, they'll
times.
manipulate the system.
Yeah,
Treat, treat,
accurate.
treat, 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 treat.
Exactly. So this Frenchie has one that's called foot rub.
Mm.
And she's on the couch with her human, and she sticks her little back paw up in their face, and then the other paw goes foot rub, and then they'll rub her little foot for a second, and then she looks like, you stopped? Foot
Yeah.
rub, foot rub, foot rub, foot rub, foot rub. It's so funny how tenacious she gets with the demanding of the foot rub.
We
So
need
that
a
reminds me of Yoshi. I feel like if you got a talking
yeah.
button, ball,
It,
ball, 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 ball.
it's the Diva Club. I think we're starting a Diva Club here
Yeah.
of breeds, and
Diva dogs.
Shiba Inus and French Bulldogs are first round picks here.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so let's transition here. Next up is going to be valerian root.
Okay.
Valerian root is a traditional botanical used for centuries to support relaxation and stress response. How it supports calm, helps ease nervous tension, supports relaxation during stressful events, encourages the body natural calming response. Valerian root offers gentle calming support without heavy sedation when used thoughtfully in balanced formulas. Very similar to the other ones that we're talking about, but my favorite thing to read about here is the centuries part. So that
Hmm.
immediately takes my mind to like ancient China, where
I
they
feel like I've
probably,
heard it in like the fantasy show, like Game of Thrones or something that they go to the healer or whatever and they give them valerian root. I feel like I've heard it in that capacity.
so let's see here. Where did valerian root originate and what for? Okay, so it says valerian root is native to Europe and parts of Asia. It has since become naturalized in North America and has grown worldwide for its medicinal properties, historical uses, sleep and calming. Documents it used as for sleep support. The physician Galen prescribed it specifically for insomnia, nervous disorders during the 16th century. That's back in the 1500s. It was
Mm.
used to treat trembling, nervousness, and heart palpitations. War era support. It was used to treat shell shock in
Oh,
soldiers during
wow.
World War One and to help English citizens cope with the stress of air raids during World War II.
Wow.
Historically, it has also been used for migraine, stomach cramps, epilepsy, and even anesthetic for wounds by some Native American groups. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, I mean,
Wow, that is
definitely
one
sounds like.
anxiety killing root. That's amazing. That's so great that it helps people with like traumatic experiences.
Mhm. Yeah, so something, I mean, they talk about this as well with something as serious as PTSD.
Hmm.
I know psilocybin gets talked about by some
Yeah.
recovery, and that's used like in very micro doses for medicinal. But you can only imagine, going through something like that and having
Mm.
PTSD or having some of that shock. Like I was talking about in the beginning of the episode, experiencing loss, experiencing death, and the human body, I mean, it can take a long time to come away from something like that. Same thing with pets. So how many times do we hear about, or I'll have clients come up to us to talk about how their dog is so anxious and it's a rescue dog that they got.
Hmm.
And the thing I say to them all the time is we never know what situations that dog was in before you got that dog. You don't know the
So true.
trauma that that dog was experiencing. So when it's coming to you, there's going to be a process there of acclimation where that
Hmm.
dog starts to, go through life and realize that that wasn't the norm, the situation that
Oh,
they were in,
yeah.
you know?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, that they can feel safe. I mean, dogs, you were talking about living in the moment, and I was going to say that dogs generally are a great example of living in the moment.
Right.
They,
Short-term memory.
short-term memory and instant pleasures and, enjoying the small things. But the reason I didn't say it, I was like, but on the other hand, they do have, you know, ex experiences that shape them. And, when we're talking about dog anxiety, it comes from somewhere and it comes from, you know, patterns of anxiety. It just feeds itself. So that can be true for dogs too. They might not be thinking of the future or stuck on the past, but both those things do affect them in their present moment.
I mean, a real good piece of advice that I have for you, especially when it comes to dwelling, especially as it comes to an athlete as well. They kind of talk about this as quarterbacks all the time, or any sport that you're playing. You
Hmm.
have to have short-term memory on to the next play. Because if you make a mistake, let's say you
Oh
throw an
God,
interception and that in your mind it starts to fluster you, then that starts to spiral into all this other stuff. And one of the best skills that athletes can have is just erasing immediately what just happened, keeping a fresh mind and going into the next play or going into the next moment. Because if not, that's a real thing that you're talking about. It kind of snowballs in a direction you're not hoping for, but it's hard to do that too. It's really hard.
it is. It is really hard, and it just takes time, and it takes just being seen the opposite thing. For when we're
Hmm.
talking about the dogs, that they are safe. Dogs that cower when you go to
Hmm.
pet them, and
Hmm.
it takes quite a
They
while
got
to
a
develop.
built built-in
I'm not
fear there.
gonna hit you ever.
Yeah.
It's all gentle. It's
No,
all
it's
not,
okay. And you bring the hand a little closer.
reassure.
See, it's okay. You're fine. You're doing
But it can
okay
take a
there.
long time for that instinct
Hmm.
to, protect themselves, um, to be overridden.
And
So,
skittish is the word they would use, for a lot of
skittish.
pets like that. They're just skittish about everything, real jumpy, real nervous about a lot of things. And it's unfortunate to see that, especially like you shouldn't be that nervous. I feel like Chihuahuas, like every time I see a
Chihuahuas live
Chihuahua,
in
they just
they're
live in skittishness all the
yeah.
time, like just shaking. I'm like, are
That's
you
their
cold?
that's
Can
their
we get you a
baseline.
sweater? Like.
You're right. Yeah, yeah. They're just on
Poor little
vibration
guys.
mode
Yeah, the
at
whole
all
time.
times.
We got to get some Zen for all of our Chihuahuas out there.
Yes. Hey,
Okay,
if you can zen out Chihuahuas, then
oh yeah,
you're headed
oh
in the
yeah,
right direction.
we're on a good track here.
Yeah.
Okay, GABA. This is another one, and this is hard to pronounce. So you'd
Yeah,
think
because I see it here, gamma amino. Okay,
butyric.
butyric,
Yeah.
butyric.
Yep.
It's no, yeah,
Yeah. So gamma
acid.
amino butyric acid. GABA, we'll call it. We'll just call it GABA.
Yes, please.
A naturally occurring neurotransmitter that helps regulate nervous system activity. So here we go, nervous system helps moderate overstimulation, encourages relaxation and balance, supports calm behavior without dullness. GABA supports the pet's ability to turn down the noise in the nervous system,
Mm,
promoting calm focus rather than shut down.
I see, and I also see that it can be taken before bed as way to help you relax into
Hmm.
sleep.
Yes, I mean, sleeping gummies out there, right? Ton of different
Yeah.
formulas out there. Even if you go into the airport, you ever notice like any of those Hudson News type places, they're going to
Oh
have
yeah,
like, your sleep shots or, that stuff. That stuff is
for
probably
sure.
filled with melatonin, filled with,
Yeah.
GABA and all these things that are just going to, hopefully get you there, but don't want to get you there on like what it's saying, a shutdown, like a
Yeah,
blackout
you
where
don't
you're
want to
you're
be
numb.
completely incapacitated, but you want
Hmm.
to be able to get over either if you're anxious or if you're just not a good sleeper in an upright, uncomfortable position, then that can help you get there, get tired enough to do it, but not be totally drooling and unaware. And, especially if you're traveling by
Hmm.
yourself, you don't want to, it feels a little vulnerable to like go
Yeah,
full.
right.
Yeah.
Uh,
Full Xanax, full tryptophan, whatever. I mean, whatever. Trazodone is what I
Jesus,
meant.
take the wheel.
Yeah,
I hope I land in Boston tonight.
right. I hope I land somewhere.
Yeah.
They're
Um,
like shaking you away.
yeah, right. You're
Sir,
here. You're
sir,
here.
we're,
Oh,
yeah.
that's right. I am here.
The cleaning crew needs to come on
Yeah.
the plane.
All right, so here we go. Our almighty chat. Why Zen Friends combines these ingredients. We love our
Okay.
virtual assistant here. Not even coming from me. Each ingredient plays a different role, but together they support nervous system balance, emotional steadiness, stress, resilience, calm behavior without sedation. Zen Friends formulations are designed to help pets feel calm, present, and comfortable, not drowsy or disconnected. And then we also talk about a lot of our philosophy, which is feeling natural, gentle enough for routine use, preserve a pet's personality. That one
Mm,
we got a coin for you. That's something you talk about all the time. And support a calm lifestyle, not as a last resort. I love chat. I love the little clever puns that they put in here. Great for marketing help.
yeah.
That's why we focus on plant-based amino acid and neurotransmitter supporting ingredients that work with the body, not against it. I feel great about all of that. The fact that we're putting these ingredients into the Zen butter product, we'll also be putting that into a calming soft chew formula this year as well. For
Oh, that's
those,
exciting.
yeah, for those out there that want the calm without using CBD, maybe you're opposed to it, or maybe you tried CBD and you didn't get the full relief from the product. We're going to put in this for you, like we mentioned, the GABA, passion flower, valerian root, L-tryptophan, and L-theanine, and those are going to be our calming amino acid superstars that we are now going to reveal to you on this episode of the Zen Friends podcast today.
So exciting. That's awesome. It's great to have options. I'm excited for Suki to try the chews. She always liked the calming chews.
hmm
That she really goes for those as like a regular treat. I mean, she just likes them.
Yeah, so we're working now. I'm not going to really, disclose everything, but the
Got to
flavor
have
of
some
choice. Yeah, a little
anticipation.
flavor of choice here. We're going to think about peanut butter and honey soft chews. Dogs
Mm.
love peanut butter. They love the flavor as well too. We're going to look to continue to do that. We also have our bacon and beef flavored CBD chews. It's not as bacon smoky smelling as you would think. It's actually a really
Mm-mm.
neutral scent that those products have, and the palatability has been widespread over the years of that as well. So if you're listening out there and your pet is experiencing some form of anxiousness, we're going to formulate natural products for you that are palatable. They're really tasty. They're going to be really easy to supplement, and try these products out daily in those situations that we're talking about that can be stressful for pets. Use it over time, see how your pet builds up to it, and if you're noticing that relief, then we've accomplished what we've set out for using the natural, but also the non-drowsy as well too.
That's absolutely right. I think people need to give these products a try. They're, I'm just a co-host on the podcast, but also a customer. I really love what they've done for Suki. So I totally agree, and I totally see that she's the same dog. She's just more calm, more at peace. And calm sounds like the opposite of energetic. She can be
Right.
energetic on them, but she's just chilled out. She's not stressed. It takes the stress away. So it's so great for grooming visits,
hmm
vet visits. If we have company over that you know, interrupts her routine, all sorts of kind of daily, I mean, you can use it daily, but also kind of things that happen in your daily life that can make your pet a little stressed. This will help them get through it easier.
And so we're so excited to be releasing what we have currently. You can check it out on zenfriends.com, but also this year as well too. We'll be coming up with some awesome formulations here in the form of peanut butter. We'll have tinctures, we'll have soft chews for you guys as well, like lick mat toys, interactive toys. And yeah, let's bring some Zen to the world, Erica, for all those puppies out there that need a little bit from time to time. Also, if you go to Zen Friends Instagram page here this week, we have a $100 gift card going out there, and that's going to be
Woo!
if you can guess the winning team and combined score between the Seattle Seahawks
Ooh.
and the Patriots this week.
Did
Go
you come
over.
up with this idea,
Of
Alex?
course, I
Was
came
this
up
when
with
you,
this
yeah.
idea. Of course, I
This
came
has
up
you
with
all
this
over it.
idea. Of course, I came up with this idea. No, and we had a really good turnout when we did this for the Rams Bengals Super Bowl back in 2023 or 2022, I believe that was. But yeah, we've got that live for you guys right now. So go head over to Zen Friends Instagram. We just hit 13,000 followers today, which is a big celebration that we have. Nothing is paid for on Zen Friends. Not one of those followers was paid for. We've built an
Hmm.
organic community of people that are passionate about their pets, passionate pet owners. That's part of our brand mission statement that we have. So go check it out on the Instagram page. We got exciting stuff going on, and we got Valentine's Day coming up
Yeah.
next week. And you know we're going to be on top of that. And Erica's already given you the pro tips out there for all the guys listening in here. So yeah, make sure to go out there and get something a little thoughtful and stay ahead of the curve this year.
And there's also a way to involve your pets. Suki is for sure sending something special to her husband because, you've got to
Mm,
keep that. So it also applies to dogs.
yeah,
She's
I'm
sending
sure.
them these cranberry heart treats that I
Hmm.
found. They look really cute. So and she's gonna dress up. She might have had her nails
Mm,
painted pink and her tail might be dyed pink currently.
I love
So we're
that.
setting up for a really cute photo for Valentine's Day.
This
So,
this local groomer we're talking about here, or do you
it
have
is a
skills we don't
local
know? Okay, okay,
groomer.
okay.
Yeah, I took her. I'm not capable of that myself. That I have to take her to a professional, and she feels so pampered, and she shows off afterwards. It's really pretty great.
Amazing. All right. Well, hey, we need to see a picture of
Oh
Suki and all
yeah.
of her Valentine's greatness. We'll be on the lookout for that coming up soon here. And yeah, we thank you guys so much for listening into this episode of the Zen Friends podcast with myself and Erica Nolan as well too. Erica, I'm looking forward to some guests that we're going to be having come on here in the next several weeks. We're getting a lot of feedback of business owners that want to get out there and tell their story about how they're accomplishing their goals, but using a lot of natural methods. That's what we're
Mm,
getting up from a lot of the feedback. So they're resonating with the natural wellness aspect of the business that we have. So we've got some great guests coming your way here for the Zen Friends podcast. And Erica and I will be here this year to deliver the Zen to you
yeah.
and to your ears as well, too, baby. When you're in the car, when you're in the gym, whatever you're doing, keep us on. And we love having you guys.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening.
All right. Have a great weekend, guys. Be safe out there, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Happy Valentine's Day.
See ya.